Yes, hello. I am live on YouTube broadcasting from the beautiful South Florida, my favorite place in the entire United States of America. And I spent much of my adult life, especially the past few years, repositioning here. So each night, what I try to do just about every night is go live on YouTube, upload regular daily videos. So to be notified of them, you hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification. And I welcome everyone to join a live chat, add a comment. We can talk about whatever you want. My channel covers a variety of topics, including simple living and life lessons and just life. I share my life, share what I'm thinking, and I appreciate everyone who's part of the channel. I appreciate people who watch these videos if they help you. I appreciate you giving the effort to give a thumbs up that supports the channel, share the video. All free ways, all my videos are free to just help the channel and help me grow. But what I do on the live chats is I pick one topic that I want to start the show with, and then I read each and every live comment. And today, as I'm sitting here in South Florida, which I consider my home, even though I technically have no physical property that I own, I live in my car, have for the past 2 years. I did own a condo for 15 years in New Jersey, but now I just kind of live as a nomad, someone with no permanent dwelling. And, what I was reflecting on today as I got back in the area that I love the most is money and missed opportunities. I think if you evaluated the amount of time people think about money, I would say that probably ranks as the number one thing that people think about throughout the course of the day in their life. So, meaning that, sometimes there's like, I don't know what they call them, montages or something of that. I know I may not be saying that right, but there's like these things that during a commercial or during a discussion, people make this montage or something like that. I'm not saying it right, but it's a picture compiled of all the words said during the speech and what words popped up the most. And so if like there was a political speech and they were talking about a certain policy, healthcare, then that would be the biggest one on the screen. And then all the other little ones like like military, or all those other ones would pop up in a subcategory. So if you did data analytics of the human brain from the time they were born till the time they die, in my opinion, I think the number one thing that would come up the most as a recurring thought is money. Money is behind just about every decision. Why? Because as I've discussed often on this channel, money is just a printed piece of paper in many countries. Of course, I live in the US, but in many places, it's just whether it's a piece of paper or a coin, it symbolizes a level of value that you can exchange that for something else. But you only have so much of that to exchange. So when you run out of money, you have nothing to barter with. Okay. You have nothing to get a goods or service. And so when you're broke, you are stuck. Where can you go? It costs money to put gas in your car. It costs money to feed yourself. And so when it comes down to it, money equals options. Money equals independence. You can live in a free country, but if you're broke, you're not free. That's the reality of life. That's the reality of life. And for many people, they may be not in a prison, but when they're broke, there's a mental prison. Okay, because again, I think if you analyze the human mind from definitely in your adulthood, maybe not in your childhood, because when you're a child, you're not thinking about money. Your parents are thinking about money. And if you don't think your parents are thinking about money, you got no idea. Think about when you were a child and you went to a store and you wanted a toy on the shelf. A lot of times when your parents said, no, we're not here to get toys, we're here to get something else, they're thinking about money. Money's the driving factor just about every decision. You're either thinking about, if I make a decision, will this cause me to lose money or make money? How much risk is involved in this decision? Moving to a different state, you think about money. You think about jobs. You think about that thing. Money plays a big part in your mental well-being. I often say that I believe in today's current society that a big part of mental health problems is caused by money. And I think people who are not in a good position with money, their anxieties build up, their fear, they're boxed in, they have less options, they become desperate, and this all plays a huge part on the mind, on the mental well-being of someone. Money is independence. That's why I always wanted to work as early as I could, but there's a huge sacrifice. When you work, you trade off your time. You trade off a part of your life. I often say we work more than we play. We work 5 days a week, we have off 2. You spend more time with your coworkers than you do your family. But money is behind that. Without money, you have no options. With money, you have options. I know Cheesy McStuffins, I seen him just join a live chat. He often says, well, money's not the driver. It's not the driver. I mean, you have to work on yourself first, but it's part of every decision. It's part of every decision. To get a divorce, you think about money. Before I know someone that I remember, he came to me, he said, Sam, I'm thinking about getting a divorce, but I did the calculations and everything. And if I left my wife and I left family, I would be totally financially destitute, be totally broke. Now I have heard some people say, fuck it, I don't care how bad I am financially after this, I want peace of mind. But I've heard a lot. I even watched Will Smith, who's a famous American actor, and Jada Smith. They have this show on Facebook called Red Tabletop. And they were talking about getting a divorce. And I said, well, why didn't you ever get a divorce? And Will Smith's wife answered for him. He said, because it's cheaper to keep me. Money plays a factor in if you're going to leave a relationship. If you have more options, you won't be on the hook to someone. I often say, I think the reason that my mom had the confidence to divorce my father, because it was an unhealthy situation, was because she had inheritance, not much, but inheritance left to her by a grandfather. That money gave her the freedom and the confidence to make a different decision. I mean, because you think about it, if you don't have any money and you want to get a divorce, but you have nothing else to fall back on, it's harder to make that decision. And then missed opportunities. When you have money, you have a certain amount of decisions to make. Do you want to risk your money to possibly make more money? Or do you want to just save your money and you may not make any money off it? You may miss some opportunities. In my experience, the more you risk, on average, you're just going to lose. Most people I know, including myself, that have tried to do some fancy stock thing or tried to open a business or that have tried to do something exotic with money risking, most of them have failed and have not made out money. They've missed opportunity by simply not saving money and staying away from risk. Most people I know, including myself. And so sometimes you're pumped if you don't get into this opportunity, this financial risky opportunity, you're going to lose out. But in my experience, there's exceptions. My experience, most of the time when you take risk financially, for the most part you lose. Because even if you win with one opportunity, human nature is we get greedy. And not greedy from the standpoint of we want to build an empire. Because I never was like the type of person I wanted to build an empire. But we get to the point where we think we can, if we made this on this investment, we can parlay that. We can make this on the next investment. And so you keep going until you get hurt. And then you get hurt, and then you keep going until you can't go on anymore. You're so hurt. And then you think about the missed opportunities you would have had if you would have just saved that money. You know, you could have lived a simple life. It may not have been exciting, but you could have just lived simple, saved, and you would have had a bunch stacked up. You know, I thank God that I've always kept a certain amount that I knew that, you know, I'm always going to have a certain amount of emergency fund. I didn't always have that. And that's always given me a little bit of peace of mind. But in life, what they'll never teach you in college is, because they're taking your money. College is taking your money. TV's taking your money. Everything that takes your time, your attention, and makes you do something, it's all based around money. This world revolves around money. Never forget that. Every war can usually be traced back to money and power. And it's a hard thing to live in this world, to understand that you need money and not get obsessed with money. You want to have kids? You got to have money. If you have kids and you don't have money, shame on you. Why? Because you're just making life even harder on yourself and your children. Like, so you think like love is free and having children is free? Children is the most expensive thing you'll ever do in your life. So it costs $250,000 to raise a child in America from 0 to 18. If you consider healthcare costs, clothing, housing, etc. Money plays a huge part in what job you'll take and how you feel at your job. And so when you're in this world, you're going to need to be very conscious that you don't become of this world, meaning that you start to worship the almighty dollar or yen or euro or wherever you're at in this world. But at the same time, you're realistic enough to know that you're going to need some type of currency to have some type of independence and freedom. You know, just traveling like I did today, I filled up my tank. I stopped at the gas station twice almost. I think I spent about $30 to $40 in gas, probably about $30 in food and beverage. So $60, $70 today to allow me to live a life, right? Because you can't just, for me, especially when you're young and you're able, to just stay huddled in your house, that's not living. And even to stay in your house, you gotta pay rent, you gotta pay more. Everything in life is all about money, all comes back to money. Even in church, place of salvation, 10%, they want 10% of your money. If you don't give it, you're not left out, but you're guilt tripped. You're guilt tripped. I've seen it. I don't need somebody to tell. I've seen it. In the Catholic Church, same thing. There's 2 collection plates this Sunday. One's for this, one's for that. Pope and the Vatican, all that, big money. Non-denominational churches, same thing. The pastor's pay should be tied in with the average pay of the average person in the congregation. Pope and all them, they should get rid of the whole Vatican. They missed the boat. I mean, they went through that whole thing where all those children were getting abused, and they were just sitting up there in that gold castle, and they didn't do anything. It was a disgrace. But faith is important. Both those faiths played a part in my development and helped me. But you can't even escape money in the church. There was one time that Jesus got pissed. I mean, really pissed, physically. And he lifted up a table and he threw it. When he passed by a temple exchanging money. It's the one time he got pissed. I mean, really pissed. Because he saw that there was fraud, even amongst what was supposed to be sacred. And it was all about the exchange of money. And so he picked up the table that money was being exchanged. He fucking lifted up and threw it. But you'll never get around it. So you're going to need money, and you're going to need to heal your mind on missed opportunities. You're going to miss some opportunities in life. Whether you miss an opportunity because you didn't get involved and you just kept it in savings, or you took it out of saving, you risked it and you lost it and you wish you would have kept it in savings. Missed opportunities will plague your mind. I was watching somebody today. They were talking about a missed opportunity they had 20 years ago. 20 years ago, this person was talking about when they lost money and they missed an opportunity. Still in their mind, if you do data analytics of the mind as an adult, the number one thing you think about will be money. It'll come across your mind the most during the course of the day. Taking your children out to eat, going to the gas station, going to the store. When you go to the store, you're calculating how much you're going to spend. Remember that show with Dave Chappelle? Or that movie? When he was like dead broke, I think it was Half Baked. His whole time in his mind, even on a date, he was calculating how much money he had left because he didn't have much. And this is my life observation. I went a little bit longer than I usually go on my opening dialogue, so I'm going to get ready to end that and go into all live comments. But I want to document my thoughts as I go through life. This is what I'm experiencing, and this is what I'm sharing with you. Again, I don't think money necessarily is evil. Certainly the love of money is evil. Certainly we all need it. Certainly I work for it. Certainly I try different avenues to make more so I can, but I just want it for more independence. And I do it all uprightly. I don't try to manipulate people or different things like that. But I mean, I often think about how can I make more money while not hurting people and not doing something like immoral. I think about that. And there's different options with technology. I mean, you could do things, walk dogs, YouTube channel. I mean, working for a corporation is probably the number one thing you're going to do. That's what I do. But if you're a creative person, you may want to do other things, but they don't pay. That's why they often say a starving artist. Because, many times for a creative, artistic person, in a society, there's not much monetary value on that unless you have beat the odds and you're 1% of creative people. You're a famous musician, you're a famous painter, but very few are. There's more value in the marketplace for, people doing work other people don't want to or whatever. And those are my thoughts tonight on a beautiful night in South Florida. It's about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a beautiful wind. Just rolled down my windows. And humidity is basically gone. I walked for an hour today. I didn't even sweat. And so, I actually like to sweat. But I do like to change the pace. But South Florida is tropical. North Florida is not tropical. It's beautiful still, but I love South Florida. If I do eventually buy a piece of property, it's going to be here. I was thinking about that today. Maybe I missed the opportunity for that one home base. But, the other thing I want to say about missed opportunities, I do believe that if you keep doing the right thing, hopefully, there's no guarantee, that another better opportunity will come up. And I have seen that in my life, so I have to testify to that has happened. I think if you keep moving, that even if you miss some opportunities, and you will, I think better ones will come up. Keep moving, that's the key. All right, now live comments. T-Ma, great to see you. Well, good to see you, T-Ma. How's everything in your world? How's your life going? Luke, saw you online. About to go out for a little bit. Wanted to send my brother some good vibes on a beautiful Saturday. Well, thank you. It is a beautiful Saturday. I appreciate leaving a comment. I appreciate everyone leaving a comment, man. Go out with your beautiful 19-year-old girlfriend. Luke says, hey, good news today. I'm in Duncan and marketing manager for a resort. Overheard me talking to someone in Duncan, and she gave me her card. Good networking. And said to call her if I'm interested in the job. Well, that's good. Networking. That was, I think, like chapter 3 of my book. Networking, building relationships. Business, a big part of it is relationships. I don't think you can be a contentious worker that likes drama and succeed in your career. Certainly there's exceptions, but I don't know anyone who wants to hire or wants to work with someone who is contentious, who has a bad attitude. Can't teach you in college that. You could be very intelligent, but if you have a bad attitude and you don't know how to work with people, you're going to struggle in your career on average. And so, be mindful. I thought of that today. There was a couple people I ran across. And I was like, man, what a negative person. I would never want to work with them. Of course, I have before. Why will you work with a negative person? Money. What other reason would you go to work and work with somebody you hate? Money. That's the reality of life in this world. That's true. Luke, Thought, wow, what timing. Good to see you. Well, good luck on that opportunity, and I pray it goes well. Luke, so thinking of calling her this coming week. Well, I would. The number one thing to one of the main things to build your career and to get anything done is following up. If you don't follow up, nothing gets done. People are thinking about their problems more than they're thinking about your problems. You have to follow up. I remember I was trying to get a friend a job, and I was talking to a business manager. And I would go up to him every meeting, that we had a meeting once a month. And I would remind him, look, I'm trying to get my friend this job. And after like about the 6 months, it took me about to pressure him. After about the 6 months, like I was like, oh, should I go up to him again? But I said, fuck it, let's go up to him again. And I give my father credit. He was kind of like saying, look, we got to go up to him. We got to put pressure a little bit. And we went up to him, and I said, look, Passy, I said, I don't want to bother you again, but I got my friend. He's still waiting to get in here. And he goes, Sam, I know you've been telling me. He goes, but one thing I want to tell you, because you're a young guy and I like you. I don't care how much you tell me, you have to keep telling me. You have to keep following up. Because you see all these people, all of them want me to do something for them. And so the minute you stop asking for what you want, it's the minute I forget. Persistence and following up is the key to get stuff done and to get ahead in this world. You have to follow up. Does it guarantee success? No, but it increases your odds of success. The diligent makes wealthy. So you have to be a level of persistent. I believe in that. That's what everything in life will show you. Free to be me, Sam. You're the man. You are too. Thank you, brother. Luke. Anyways, have a great night. Sam, I'm out. God bless. Always my brother. Positive attracts positive. Well, that's true. I try to remind that when I go down a negative road. I say, Sam, everything you do, you plant a seed. Every time you smile, it's a seed. Every time you stay positive, it's a seed. Now, again, I don't believe in fake positive. I don't believe love and respect, but I don't believe in Joel Osteen positive. I got to address when I see some negativity. But overall, I want to be a positive person. And overall, I want positive people around me. And that does matter, and that's important. Hey, Rash, what's up, brother? Love and respect to Vancouver and everyone in Canada. Hello, Sam. My current goals are to make converted minivan homes for sale. Well, I saw that one that you have for sale, brother. He says, I've been building a revolutionary pull-out room in each one, can stand up. Video on my channels if you'd like to see. Well, I'll check them out, and I want to plug you. Everyone check A-Rash out. I've checked out one of his videos. I encourage young people, or whoever, old people, whoever. That's something that he's not manipulating other people. He's not hurting people. He's doing something to try to get money in a healthy way. And I support that. So I'll check it out, brother. And I appreciate you coming in. I wish you a lot of success and luck. I like to see people succeed. Always remember that, too, when it comes to money. There is enough of it in this world to go around. Jealousy, it's a sin. Jealousy is a sin. Celebrating people's success is godliness. If they do it moral and if they're sharing. Because there's enough success to share. A lot of people don't want to share success. I heard one person say in Starbucks the other day, they were talking about hiring someone. And they said, well, when I hire someone, I don't want to tell them too much of my business secrets because I don't want them to go and start their own business. I don't want to tell them everything. For me, that is not a successful person. And that is someone who, to me, doesn't deserve success. Why would you hire someone if you're not willing to share with them what you know? He doesn't want them to grow. He wants them to stay in a position where all they're going to be is his worker for the rest of their life. I don't agree with that. And I think the person who does that is cursed. Even if they're wealthy, they have corrupt character. Because they're the type of person that they don't use money as a tool for independence. They use money as a way to gain power over others. Money can be used in different ways. It can be used as a resource to enhance your ability to do the things that you feel you're called to do, could be used as a corrupt tool to oppress others and to exalt yourself. Many people use it for the second, the bad, because many people fear. Everyone knows the power of money. Everyone fears losing it because they know you'll lose your power. Why do people want famous people autograph it? Because they want what they have and they envy that and they want to be that person. And so some people fear losing that because they don't want to be a regular person. Like sometimes if you're doing great in life and you lose everything, sometimes you feel like now I'm just a regular schmo. And I had this power. Now I have nothing. But if you're healthy and if, you have a decent amount of income, you do need a decent amount of income to live a decent life, then you have to remember that. You have to take a step back and say, you know what? I'm still doing okay. And that's what I think about. Cheesy, howdy. What's up, brother? Free to be me. Debt and slavery go hand in hand. We have a lot of credit card debt, no money. Well, that's true for the average person. But most very wealthy people, they borrow the shit out of everything until they can't borrow. And if the business deal goes wrong, they know how to play the system. They'll file bankruptcy, they'll create a new job, a new company, and then they'll just re-leverage. Most wealthy people, including most publicly traded companies, they operate off debt. The common person can't, because most common people, to go through bankruptcy would be a total setback the rest of their life, and they'll never be able to recoup. And they don't know how to play the systems. They don't have the connections. They don't have the ability to navigate the system. So for the common person, yes, I believe debt is slavery. But even Dave Ramsey, who preaches that, if he didn't live in a capitalist, debt-driven society, he wouldn't be a millionaire. He would have no audience. He wouldn't be wealthy either with real estate. Real estate is a debt-driven business. Real estate, the only reason real estate exploded and house prices are exploded because they have the 30-year mortgage. They have FHA loans. If buying a house was strictly for cash only, real estate prices would not be shot up. And real estate prices went up because interest rates are still relatively low. I mean, they've gone up some, but that's part of inflation. Dave Ramsey, who preaches all this thing, the same thing, if everyone in America practiced what Dave Ramsey preached, he would be a common schmo. He would have no business. He'd be broke. And then I would like to see how passionate he is about getting people out of debt. He wouldn't be, because then he would be just a regular guy, probably working at Starbucks. He would have no real estate empire. He would have no talk show, because no one's struggling with debt when everything is cash. The people who tell you and give you all, now he's right, but he's only right because most people won't listen to him. If everyone listened to him, he's wrong. It's a game, it's a system. And those who know how to play the system, the spoils go to them. This is the harsh reality. But you can't go too deep down that hole, because this is just the way life goes. And that's why Jesus got pissed and he threw that table up, because he knew it was all a game. Desert B-Tan. Yes, I'm scared, staying with male friend who violently yelled at his little girl. I defended her because she's on a period. Then he started yelling at me. I can escape the violence back to my car tomorrow. Well, I will. I would if I were you, but I know that many people won't. But what I've learned in life is it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. It does. There's no excuse for abuse and bad behavior. But that's what I remember, being 8 years old and getting pissed at my mom and saying, "Ma, you got to get the hell out of here. I know you're insecure and everything, but you're allowing this to continue. You got to get out of this thing." In my own 8-year-old way, even when I called 911, that's what I was telling her. And that's what I learned as I got older. It takes two to tango. I don't excuse abuse. The abuser is wrong. There is a victim. But what I'm telling you is, every unhealthy relationship has one common denominator. It takes two to tango. And drama does not stay in your life without you permitting and allowing it. And you have to get the hell out of there. Again, without excusing any bad behavior from somebody else, especially if they're hurting someone else. I would never excuse that, and they should be held accountable. But to encourage people to get out of that situation, what I've learned through my own life experience, it takes two to tango. Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. And call the authorities. File complaints if it really is. Like I did at 8 years old. That's why I called the cops. I wanted consequences. I remember then, later on, when I was an adult, my mom called me over to the house. I had siblings that were fighting, and a knife was pulled out. And I had to make a decision. Am I going to get involved in this drama, or should I just call the authorities? Because if I get involved in this drama, I'm either going to take the knife away from somebody, or somebody's going to stab me. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to lose. My whole life will get destroyed. And in that moment, I thank God. What I said is, no, I'm going to call 911. I called 911 when I was 8 years old and my parents were arguing, and I called 911 when I was 32 and my siblings were arguing. Because you have to document it. You have to have that. That's how you got to get it done. I hate to say that. I hate to do that. But everything else is destroying your life, and you're playing into that game. So again, these are my opinions. Everyone should do whatever they want, but this is also my life experience that I'm sharing with you. And I'm very passionate about that. Tom Hanks. Hey, Sam. Hope the video we sent cleared things up a bit on the Boone crew. Did you have a good day? I did have a great day because I'm back home, which I consider home, South Florida. I did see you sent me an Instagram direct message. I didn't watch the video yet. I was driving when I saw it, but I will watch it. Thank you for sending it out. I'll try to get clarified. But thank you, brother. And again, anyone who's watching, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's the word inspire_38. And I'll post things. Just things that inspire me. It's just like my channel. It's just my life experience, what I'm thinking about at the time. And that's what I do. And again, everyone who watched the channel, to support the channel, please take the effort to give a thumbs up, to share it. I appreciate it. MTOF. Of course, 85% of businesses fail. 98% of amateur stock traders lose. Then he puts all caps, we all have a bit of biz spirit in us. Oh, it's true. It's true. And again, I mean, in our society, we're told to take risk but most of the time, he just gave you the statistics. And from what I've studied, those are pretty accurate. The overwhelming majority of people who take risks will fail. We are attracted to what they call the aspirational theory. The aspirational theory is you're going to beat the odds and be the 2 or 10%. Like I remember when Jay-Z was getting interviewed, he said, most of your audience is in bad financial situation. Even though that's not true. I mean, most people who listen to hip hop, they come from all economic standpoints of life. But he did say, look, my base, they're definitely not in my economic. He's a billionaire, Jay-Z, basically. So he goes, and then the interview was saying, you rap about things that are about just having wealth. Why would people who don't have wealth want to hear that? And he goes, it's aspirational. People aspire to be there. And I remember when Donald Trump got elected, they say, Donald Trump is the wealthiest president ever elected. If you take every other president and you add all their wealth up, it's still not wealthier than Donald Trump. So in America, where most people are never going to be in that position, why do they vote for him? Aspirational. In addition to other things. But you'll never be able to, most people will never be able to relate from a financial standpoint. So again, I don't think there's necessarily something wrong with money. I mean, you need some type of system to incentivize people to do certain things. And again, overall in America, we're blessed. But it's an observation that I've really been reflecting on and I'm sharing. Again, you can't escape money. In church, in politics, in the real world. Every time you go to the store, it's a money decision. Every time you go grocery shopping, money decision. Every time you have stress, missed opportunity. A missed opportunity usually tied to money. Either you could have made more or you lost too much. Most people are thinking about money and sex. We'll talk about sex tomorrow. Tune in for that. But this is life. Bobby Griffin. I'm only 23 and stress so much about saving money. Here we go. My girlfriend yells at me. Money and sex. Here we go. My girlfriend yells at me about it. Laugh out loud. Yeah, well, let's see how she likes being broke. But I know you never know what could happen to you tomorrow. It's a balance of things. I would say don't worship money. Try not to think about it too much. You need a certain amount to feel comfortable. You're definitely not going to have a relationship without money. You're not. Talk about like living on love. Yeah, right. Okay. I remember an episode of The Cosbys. And I know Bill Cosby, he got caught doing some crazy stuff, so I don't excuse his behavior. But I do still take good life lessons from The Cosby Show. I remember Theo, who was the son on The Cosbys. He was getting ready to become a man, and he was getting ready to get a job and to start his life. And he was telling his dad, like, look, I'm going to get this job. I'm gonna make a lot of money. I'm gonna, start my own life and move out on my own. And Bill Cosby was like, what job are you gonna get? And he was looking in the paper. He's like, I'll get this job. It'll pay this much. And Bill Cosby laughed at him. He goes, you think that's a lot of money? And he goes, all right, let's play a game. So then he got out Monopoly money. Monopoly, the game Monopoly, is the first indoctrination that you get to capitalism when you're young. In your adult lifehood, all you are in your adult lifehood is you're on the Monopoly board game. You're exchanging paper money to move across the board and either to stop there and rent a house or keep moving. Once in a while, you get lucky and you get free parking. But then you got to roll the dice again and you don't have free parking. And in Monopoly, you had a basic universal income. Every time you pass go, you got $200. You had a basic, in today's society, you don't have that. Right, make a note of that. But back to the story. So, Bill Cosby started, you think this is a lot of money. I don't remember what it was. Let's just say it was like $2,000 a month. I don't even think it was that, but let's just say that. So he goes, all right, well, rent's going to be $1,000, example. So, the son had $2,000 paper money in his hand. Bill Cosby said, all right, rent's going to be $1,000. So the son gives the father $1,000. He goes, all right, Dad, I got $1,000 left. And he goes, all right, you didn't pay for a car yet. You could have a car? He goes, yeah. So he gives him $200. And then he goes, well, you're going to have utility bills. You could have this. He gives him some more money. And then he goes, the son goes, well, look, I paid for my rent. I paid for my car, paid for utilities. I paid for everything you said, and I still got like $600. I'm doing good. And his father goes, well, there is a problem. You didn't eat yet. Food costs money. Food is the most expensive thing in most people's budget. Look it up. Look at how much you spend per month on food, guarantee you. So then he takes a certain amount of money from his son. So then his son was like a little disappointed in that. He says, well, I'll live on peanut butter and jelly. So then he took a little bit money back from his father. So now he's sitting there. I don't remember what he was sitting there with, $200-$300 after all the expenses. So then Bill Cosby says, all right, do you plan to have a girlfriend? And the son goes, and he took the rest of the money. Damn right. Being in a relationship and having kids, you might as well give you the money emoji with the wings. That's gone, brother. That's gone, sister. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. If you're going to be in a relationship, that's money. Number one cause of divorce, a lot of times, is financial problems. Tying finances together. When you're in marriage, what do you think about most? Money. Your wife comes home. I know a wife that used to hide bags of clothes and other stuff in her trunk until her husband left the house. Then she would go in her car, take the bags out so the husband didn't see it. Does that happen? Hell yeah, that happens. Now, the husbands could be just as bad because they could buy tools and like hide the tools, and they don't know, like the wife don't know the husband's buying tools, and so everyone plays the game. But this is a life observation. Milano, love and respect to Milano and his friend Emilio. I saw both of them today on YouTube. We connected on commenting through my videos. Love and respect to my fellow South Floridian downtown full-time in Miami in the Class Bs. Milano, Sammy, I found a dog 10 days ago. Oh, you want to talk about money? Have a pet. Pets are very expensive. How much? I had a dog for 10 years. I averaged it out. It cost me anywhere from $300 to $400 a month. I mean, I spoiled my dog. I got her bones and treats. If you factor in everything, Pet is a mini child. Oh, yeah. Let's read what Milano got to say. He goes, I found a dog 10 days ago, and today they reunited about an hour ago. Praise the Lord. It's amazing the reaction of the owner and the doggy when they saw each other after 20 days. I can only imagine. Milano, God will bless you for being a good caretaker. Milano's a good brother. Now, from what I know of him, and I thank you, Milano, for being a good friend. Love and respect to you and Emilio. I hope you get a blessing. And I hope AJ's not having sex with that Colombian girl that, like you said, was Emilio's girlfriend. Because there's a lot of, like, you know what I mean, stuff going on down there. Love and respect, man. I'm glad to hear that story too, Milano. I love you, brother. Desert B Tan. Maybe if I had cash to give my male so-called friend, he wouldn't have lost his head on his daughter for napping. I'm so disappointed I never lose my cool on people for being human. No, I mean, look, money solves some things, but that doesn't, for me, sound like, it sounds more like a character. It sounds like that person in that situation has too much stress. And the stress isn't necessary. You know, money can be stressful, but I just feel it's an unhealthy situation. And he's the type of person that he needs to be alone most of the time. And instead of him being alone, he's got a child and he's got a girlfriend and he's got too much pressure on him. But he's playing the game. It takes two to tango. He shouldn't have a dog. He shouldn't have a girlfriend. He shouldn't have a kid. He should visit his kid once in a while and he should be on his own. He can't handle it. My father couldn't handle that many kids. That was the part of the reason why that's why he got so upset and even destructive and violent during the dinner time, because he was working all day. He really didn't want to have 3 kids. He ended up having 3 kids. He's working. His wife, he doesn't have the type of mind that can handle all that responsibility. And, you know, my mom played the game with him a little bit. She knew what type of man he was. So it takes 2 to tango. But what I can tell you is no good. No good. You got to get out of there, in my opinion. I want everyone to do whatever they want. This is my opinion, sharing my experience from my life. In my opinion, get the hell out of there. And that's it. Got to go forward. Karen, Karen, love and respect to Karen. Good friend from the Space Coast area of Florida. She's been through a lot in life. And I want to hear what she's going to say to Desert B Tan, because it looks like she just commented on her comment. But I love Karen. She's a very inspirational person, very insightful woman, been through a lot in life. So I want to hear what Karen's got to say. Karen says, thank you, Desert B Tan. Bullies come in the shape of fathers too, no doubt. I agree with that. Was my father a bully? I mean, to some extent, yes. But did my mother know that and keep having children with him? Yes. I love my mother. You guys know that who watch this channel. But as an adult, it takes 2 to tango. That's what I've learned. No excuse for an abuser. No excuse. They should be held accountable and there's no excuse. But I'm sharing with you that you got to get the hell out of there. Because now you know what it is now, okay? And now you know what it is, and you got to get the hell out of there. And if you need to, call the authorities. I've shared my experience. Good job. Desert B10. Karen's a good girl, a good woman. Karen, a father yelling like that loses all respect. I told him she's a good kid. He said, you don't even know her. I'm bouncing and defriending. Well, you should never get too involved in someone else's argument. That's a scripture. If you see an abuse or a violent situation, you should call 911. If not, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. You're playing the game. It takes 2 to tango. If you see a violent act, like I did, you call 911, like I did. If you don't, and you're trying to like get in the middle of the argument, shame on you, in my opinion. Now, I'm not trying to shame you, but in my mind, this is what I'm trying to say. You're not adding solution. You're adding more fire. You think the last thing a person who's infuriated emotionally, they want to hear someone tell them they're wrong? You're throwing wood on the fire. You're making them even more irate. Oh, and then something bad's gonna happen. I've seen that. No good. No good. I've tried to get involved in domestic disputes. You know what I got? Punched in the eye. I stood in between a male that was fighting a girl, and I said, you guys gotta stop. I jumped right in between. The female punched me right in the face because she went to go punch her man. 10 years later, they were still together. That's what happens, in my experience. Tima. Money emoji brings many questions. How much to save? How much to spend? How much can I make? How do I share? Well, I think you need a year's worth of expenses. I think you need at least $20,000 in savings. Hard as hell to get there. Some people will never get there. That's what I think. Start with $1,000 in savings. Took me about a decade to get there, but I think you need at least $20,000 in savings, at least. Um, and that can go quick if you got nothing coming in. So you always have to keep that there. You're going to make no interest off it or anything else, but you're not going to lose it. You got a cushion. Because believe me, life keeps happening. So I think that's a big enough goal for most people that I don't need to go past that. You got to keep income coming in. You got to keep ways of income, working, side businesses, however, even if you can do things on a computer. Like I was watching a person today give advice on a YouTube channel. How can you make money in the technology era? You know, you can do Uber Eats, or there's different type of things where you can go buy groceries for somebody and drop them off at their house. You can get paid for that. You can walk someone's dog. There's dog apps that, you know, you like a dog watcher app that you can go walk someone's dog and get paid like $12 an hour. I mean, those are different, you know, low skill positions that you can do just to keep money coming in. You got to keep money coming in. And you got to have a certain amount in savings, at least 20,000. Start with 1,000, then start with 10,000 and 20. Don't invest. Don't invest. Don't try to double your money. I've lost more money trying to double my money than anything else. There's an old saying: how do you double your money? You fold it and you put it back in your pocket. Now, look, if you want to take risk, I'm not against that, but you need to have a certain amount in a savings account that you're never going to risk. And that ties into missed opportunities. I've missed some opportunities, there's no doubt, on both ends of the spectrum. So again, I'm just sharing with you my opinion. Everyone should do what they want. Milano, Sammy, saving money is the best way to move forward. Amen. Good job. Is no other way. Milano, I totally agree, brother. A good paid job is not guaranteed to last forever. Milano, 100% agree with you. Milano's a very wise man. That's why I'm friends with him. This guy's very smart and compassionate. He held a dog for 20 days. Milano, I pray that you get blessed, brother, because I appreciate your friendship, man. I love you, brother. Desert B10. I've dated a couple celebrities. Most of them criticize their friends and judge the world. Yeah, I mean, celebrities are selling you social media product. You know, celebrities get lip injections, they get plastic surgery, and then they sell people overpriced makeup. Or they sell people sneakers, or they sell, you know. And then they talk about like how they want to like do prison reform, or how they want to get people out of prison. Stop selling shoes for $400. You know, celebrity is marketing, a brand, but I'm not mad at them. But I'm just trying to say that everything's a game. Everything's a game. And in this world, most things revolve around money. It's just the way it is. Freddie, what's up, Freddie? Thanks, man. I needed to hear this right now. Love and respect. About money, where I'm at, I need to be more careful. Hey, man, I've been there, so don't feel alone. Don't feel like you missed too many opportunities, because I've lost a lot of money. I've done certain things. You're not alone, and you're not stupid, and there's plenty of wealthy people that have done the same thing you did, but they know how to navigate the systems, and they had a head start. And they got a backing. And there's a few people that beat the odds, but they did exactly that. They beat the odds, and they got lucky. And hard work plays a part. But I feel I can share this because I've always worked, and I still work. So I'm just as hardworking as anyone else. And this is what I would share with you tonight. Peppa Pig. Hey, Peppa. I watched your video today, driving on the road. One of my favorite times is to drive on the road, and I thank God for that ability while I'm young. The older you get, the less you can drive. Very dangerous on the road. It takes a lot of eye-hand coordination. And I see, especially in South Florida, I see how older people don't want to drive too much. The older people that were on a date the other day in Starbucks, I heard them saying that, like, I don't like to drive too much. And I understand why. And that's why I'm seizing this moment of my life. I'm 38. We talked about last night, 78 is life expectancy, 0 is being born, 38 is the exact middle of that. As you get older, your body declines, your eye-hand coordination. And so I enjoy driving now because I know I'm not going to always be able to drive like I drive. I drive a lot. Okay, I got a 2.5-year-old car, got 104,000 miles on it. That's a lot. Okay, let's read the rest of your comment. And he goes, I watched the video of you driving on the road. It gave me more ideas for my plans this summer to travel at low cost in Upper Pennsylvania, Excuse me for saying that wrong. Upper Michigan. Love and respect. Well, Michigan gets cold in the winter, but it's good that you said in the summer. I wish you a lot of luck on your journey and your dreams. Milano, Sammy, car dealers years ago. Oh, yeah, that's right. Car loans used to only be 36 months, which is 3 years. Now there's some car loans that are up to 7 years. Why? Because for a capitalist society to grow, society needs to take on debt. Capitalism does not work without debt. It doesn't. That's why buying everything in cash is not taught in school. Because if you did that, companies wouldn't grow and capitalism wouldn't grow. It would totally collapse. A backbone of capitalism is debt. If you don't have 30-year mortgages or even 15-year mortgages, if you don't have 3-year loans on the cars, which now they're up to 7 years, which Milano's making a great point, people wouldn't be driving around in Audis and Teslas. Not how they are. And most people are even leasing them. Society runs on debt. That's how it grows. Eventually, the dominoes fall. But until then, you keep leveraging. That's what happens. He makes a great point, though. And that's why, again, inflation, housing costs, and car costs, they've shot up from previous generations because it used to be more cash and less borrowing. But banks, corporate banks, got bigger and bigger. Lack of regulation, the corporate banking system is the biggest it's ever been. And the corporate banking system is the one borrowing the money. And then you're taking on the debt, and the loans are getting longer, and that's what's happening to society. Good comment, Milano. Very smart man. And then he goes, they went from 3-year car loans to 60 months, which is 5 years. That's what I financed this car at. I got a 0% interest loan. That was one of the main reasons I took it. And then he said, now they're up to 72 months. Yes, which is 6 years. And some of them go up to 7 years, I believe. Some expensive cars, 10 years. Well, I used to know that. RVs go up to 20 years. You can finance an RV for 20 years. Is there something wrong with that? I mean, no. I mean, look, if I had to do it, I'm not saying there's something wrong with it necessarily. But I'm saying be mindful. Be mindful, because every decision, not necessarily evil, but it can become evil. Investing stocks, even if you have money, the focus and your energy, your focus is on more and more. It's hard to contain. Great comment, Milano. Good job on the history reference. And he says it's a legal scam. It's part of the system. Capitalism collapses without debt. BVT, hey Sam, love and respect to South Carolina, the Palmetto State. And then BVT says, top 15 things money can't buy. Well, yeah, let's see what that is. Time, that's true. Happiness, I would debate you on that, but somewhat you're right. Inner peace, I would debate you on that. If you got no money, I don't know how happy or inner peace you could have. Integrity, I debate you on that. When you're broke, you'll do things to compromise your integrity. You may do petty theft. So far, most of them I disagree. Love? Tuh. Love ain't free, brother. I ain't see free love. Unless it's with your mom. That's it. Character? The biggest reason people corrupt their character is money. Trust, patience. If you got money, you're going to be patient. You don't got money, you're pissed because you got to get to work. You can't wait for the guy in Starbucks in front of you. You got to get to work. Class and common sense, dignity. I understand the spirit and the context of that comment, and it's a good comment. It's a good reminder. And I love you, BVT, and you're right. But for the most part in this world, I disagree. Because most of those things, if you don't have any money, it's hard to feel those good emotions. But you should work to have money, but then you got to live way below your means. And what I do agree with that comment, and I think it's a good comment, BVT, I agree that it keeps us away from the mindset of worshiping the almighty dollar. And we have to remember that. And that's a good comment, and I agree with that, but I'm just sharing realistically. Good comment. Desert Beat Sam, I'm glad you don't sugarcoat things. I feel a huge amount of trust in you, and thank you for your show. Well, thank you, Desert Beat, for sharing. Thank you for being honest. You healed yourself by sharing, and you healed other people. And Karen made a good comment. You made a good comment. I love you. No judgment, no guilt tripping here, no shaming. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just sharing my experience, but I love you. I want the best for everyone. And even if you make a decision I totally disagree with, I want the best for everyone. And I am not better than anyone. And we are all saved by the grace of God. And I want everyone to receive that. I don't want anyone to feel like belittled or less than, or that we are all in this together as far as like, look, we're all saved by grace. And I wish the best for you. I know how hard it is to get out of an unhealthy situation. I know. So I certainly not saying just do it. I am saying just do it, but I also have empathy of how hard it is to just do it. Love and respect. Tima. My adult children have called me out staying with my ex-husband too long. It's not easy. I understand. See, all you guys are doing a good job sharing. I've had to own up to that mistake. We've all made mistakes. I thank everyone for sharing. This is good stuff. Money played a huge part in keeping me there. Tima, Desert Be Me, Karen, these are great comments. This is why I get excited by this, because this is the reality of life. Look, we could just talk about like, RVing and camping, but this is the type of stuff that sets the captives free. Good job. James, Sam, money emoji, he says money has been called the root of evil. Yeah, pastors say money is not the root of evil. It's the love of money. After the worship song is done, we're going to do a collection plea. Good job. But that's true. And he goes, money has been called the root of evil, when the reality is it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, but it usually is. Usually is. Doesn't have to be, but it usually is. Because we're all human, and doesn't have to be, though. Every day I focus on my life of I need to make money, but I try not to do things to compromise my integrity to make it. But again, if you put anyone in a bad enough position, I'm not saying they automatically would. And I'm not saying there's an excuse to compromise, but I'm just saying this is my thought. But you are correct, James. That's a good comment, and I agree. Money doesn't have to be a bad thing, but I want everyone, including me, to be mindful it can be. But if you do productive things and you use your gift for society, you should be compensated with money, and more money the more you contribute. So I am for that. I bring something to the table. I want some money in exchange for my services. When I negotiate my salary, when I do certain things, I monetize my channel. As long as when I'm asking for money in the marketplace, I'm not, selling my soul to do it, and I'm not hurting someone else to get it, I'm okay with that. And that's what I do. And so you're right in that sense. BVT. Saying, would you like to host a meet and greet with Bob Wells on vehicle living skills? Laugh it. Zip his mouth. No, I wouldn't. It's not my thing, but it is Bob Wells' thing. And I want to be mature enough to grow and say there's enough room in society for everyone to be themselves. And even though I disagree with some of what he's doing, I don't see him necessarily doing anything to hurt someone or oppress them. So I have to be mature enough to say, look, there's some positivity in what he's doing. He's done a lot of things for the Nomad community. And so I want to say that there's enough room in this world for everyone to do them. Certainly there's a lot of people doing worse things than Bob Wells. So, sometimes I feel he may be a self-promoting disingenuous, but also, he's trying to do some good, I think. But I've had a 401c3 or 501c3, whatever it is, a nonprofit, and many nonprofits end up just being, I don't want to say a scam, but look, that's why I believe in a basic income. You don't need charities then. Just everyone has a basic level of dignity, and you don't need you don't have to go to Bob Wells and suck his whatever to get money. Like now, if you're destitute, you're gonna have to go to Bob Wells and plead to him on how to get money. That's what he even said. One of the biggest things we're trying to determine now is who's gonna get money, who's gonna get help. How do you determine who gets help? And then you got to play the game. Whoever can kiss up the most, or give you the saddest song. That's why I'm in favor of a basic income for everyone throughout the world, to eliminate a level of poverty and a level of petty crime and a level of people compromising their character, integrity, and goodness to get enough to live a basic life. I'm tough. I've tried the dog walking. Most of people posting ads ignored me. Interesting. Only got a few responses out of 100 emails. Well, that's a good comment. You guys should listen. I often thought about that too. What I would say is it's a huge liability. So I think that's a good comment, and that's what I would add. Because I thought about that today when I was watching that YouTube video. I said, man, that's a liability, because I know what it is to have a dog. So that's a liability too. I mean, putting a dog in your car and then walking them, something happen. I mean, certainly you can go to the house and walk them around the community, but that's a fair point. Good comment. Mighty Mo, what's up, brother? Let me take a hydration break. Thank you again, man. Keep leaving the comments. Again, I appreciate everyone giving the effort. Thumbs up the video, share it. Thank you. Mighty Mo. Sam, you have an advantage of low expenses by living in your car. That's true. However, I have to say $2,500 to $3,000 a month, if that's what I spend, seems a lot for living in a car. Just wondering. But that includes everything. My gas and my food. Food is the most expensive. How much do you think you spend on food per month? And I travel a lot. And then camping fees when I camp. And my insurances. Tolls. On average, that's what it's going to be. What's your monthly budget? Most people don't. What's your monthly budget, Money Mom? I'm interested to know. I'm interested. Anyone who's willing to share. I would like you to be honest and share. What is your monthly expenses that you spend? Whether you live in a house, RV, or car, please just put the number. I'm very interested. I'm tough. Driving in Florida equals disaster. Yeah, it's a little wild. So dangerous. It's one of the highest places to have your car insurance, which I pay a month, $150 a month. It's true. Now, it's not as hard as driving in New York is the hardest to drive in as far as Manhattan. But it's like a little bit of a Mad Max scene down here, depending on where you go. I mean, it is. It's true. Karen just wrote a check for my property taxes. Let's listen to Karen here. Life costs even more when you outright own your place. Enjoy your freedom, nomads. Karen is giving you wisdom. Karen is retired, worked her life, owns her house, and she still has to pay property taxes and an HOA fee. Now, I'm not going to say the community, but I looked. That's how I got to know Karen. When I was looking in Florida to buy a townhouse or a condo, I actually looked in the community she lived, and through like online, that's how we actually got to know each other. And I remember at that time, I mean, the price, and I looked like right around 2008, and the townhouses in her community at that time were around 100,000 or under. They were going anywhere from about 75,000, somewhere around there. And now they're like 150,000 up for most of them. And at that time, the property taxes were probably around $1,500 to $2,000 a year. So I would say now they're probably around 2,000, I would think. So, and the HOA fee was kind of low. That's why I was looking at that community too. At that time, it was like $80 a month or something like that. And now I'm sure that's gone up. I'm sure it's probably close to 100. So right there, property taxes and HOA, that's about $300 a month. Plus you have utilities. Plus you have breakdowns and renovations. So easily, even when you own your house outright, I mean, you're looking at $500 to $700 a month. And that's low. That's low. And she lives, I mean, for me, that's why I looked at that community. I looked at other community. I mean, that's relatively low. But I just spend a lot on the road because I travel, because I do campgrounds, not all the time, but I do them. And so it's something to consider. Tom Hanks says, haha, thanks. The video is just us showing you who we all are and that we are not robots. Well, I don't trust that, but I'll take a look. Or just one person. Well, I don't trust that either, but I'll take a look. I love you, Tom. Mighty Mo. Sam, I did not know the concept, but Oh, I don't want to rush to it. Tom Blanton, everyone in North Carolina, I appreciate your support. I can feel your love, and I will look at the video. And now I'm not going to say I don't believe your robots, but I will say that I appreciate the support. Mighty Mo, Sam, I did not know the concept of living below your means until 2 or 3 years ago. Otherwise, I would be close to being financially independent. Good comment, and thank you for sharing. I do believe living below your means is the only answer to financial freedom, the only one. And it took me a while to get that too. And then when I started living below my means, where I went wrong is I took on too much risk. Because now I said I have all this free money. Let me try to make more money with it. And I lost more money instead of saving. And so there's a scripture that says, be careful because hoarding cash can harm the saver. Hoarding cash can harm the saver. Too much is put into risky investments and all can be lost. And that's true. I'm not saying don't take on risk. I'm not saying you can't beat the odds. I'm just saying this is a life observation. This is a life experience and something I'm sharing with you. Cheesy. Consume, consume, consume. All caps. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's the way life goes. That's so true. Good to see you, Cheesy. Cheesy says, hey, BBT. Cheesy mixed stuff. Laugh out loud. Good. I don't know what the hell you're laughing at. It's good to see you, Cheesy. T-Mop. I needed to learn how to play the game. I'd stretch $1. But I can't shake the regret of paying cash for a car and a house. Savings is now exhausted, which means returning to relying on credit. Great comment. That's the problem when you buy cash. Your biggest asset is your savings because that gives you something to pull from if you have an emergency or if you even a peace of mind. Like BBT said, money can't buy peace of mind. That's not true. Having money will actually give you peace of mind. Not necessarily 100%, but it'll give you some. And that's why I didn't pay cash for this car. Sometimes people say, well, if you have money, why didn't you pay cash for your car? Why'd you get a loan? Why? They were offering 0% interest. I said, I'd rather keep that cash in savings. Now, some of that I risked, and some of that I lost in a risky investment. But what I will tell you is that comment I agree with. Don't buy cash with everything because then your biggest asset, which is your savings, if you ever get on hard times, then you have none. You have to rely on credit, and that's bad news. Because a house and a car is not liquid. It's hard to sell. Even if it's easy to sell those things, it takes months. And a car, you're always going to need a car, so you can't just go sell your car. You're going to need your car more than you're going to need your house. How are you going to get to work? Now, if you live in a city, you can do public transportation, but this is something to think about. Freddie, $500 rent, $300 insurance, $50 for food? No way. All right, $200 for food. So $250? Yeah, you'd have to. At $250 is eating peanut butter and jelly, all month. So Freddie is basically saying he's got a monthly about $1,000. No, over $1,000. About $1,200. Okay, well I can buy that. About $1,100. Let's just say $1,100 for Freddie. So if I'm at a month where I spend, I mean maybe there's some months I spend $2,000, but I want to high end it, $2,500 to $3,000, just so I play it safe, and that includes my car loan that still has another year and a half. So you could do that. I often said, like even in the video when I did my budget, I said I could cut that in half if I cut down on the food expense, which I go to Starbucks every day and I go to Publix every day. And that's the downside about not having a refrigerator or something. I mean, I don't have to spend as much as I spend. But I would say that I could cut my probably food budget in half and I could probably get down to $1,500. I just don't want to because I'm already living below my means. But if I had to, I would. Freddie says phone $50. That's the cheapest phone plan I've ever seen in my life. But thank you for sharing. Thank you, Freddie. Ali, hello, Sam. Did you do any school activity in high school? I played sports, basketball, football, for a few years. And outside of that, I didn't do any programs, like any like type of after school programs. Uh, Now there is benefit to that. I heard like some people at Starbucks, like people who help you get into college. I heard them saying that they were trying to get certain people in college, and part of the evaluation that universities use is your grades as one metric, and then your after school activities and your involvement as another metric. Those two things are the biggest determining factor in you getting into a college. In addition to who you know, your alumni support. So what they also said is they look for progressive growth, meaning that if you did an activity or involvement in after school activity, that you stayed with that same group over the course of 2-3 years, and that you grew in that organization, you progressively moved up because it showed commitment. And so when you're entering school, or when your child's entering college education, they're going to look at the grades and the commitment to stay with an after school program for a certain amount of time, and that evaluates the risk that the college is taking on, whether it's giving them a grant or whatever, because it's all about money. Colleges, one, is they want your money, so they'll accept as many people as they can, but they also want to ensure that this is going to be a return on investment. Because a lot of times, if a college can pump out a successful person, that person aids to the alumni. And it's all a game revolving around the almighty dollar. It's true. And he says he wasted a lot of time and effort doing sports. I did most of that. Not a bad thing. I wish I would have just worked. Well, sports aren't a bad thing. They could be a great thing. Look, I didn't like school, but I knew it was part of the game, so I did just enough to pass. I could have done better, but I don't like school. I still don't. Even when I went to trade school for 5 years after high school, I hated it. But I knew it was a means to the end. It gave me an opportunity to build my career and get a level of financial freedom. But I hated it. It's true. Milano, $150 a month, even is a full cover. Kind of high. After the 3 years, BS should change. Keep quoting around, bro. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of people told me that I should keep quoting around. I mean, I have I don't know what it is, like $1 million liability or whatever. I probably don't need that high. But yeah, thank you, brother. Desert Betan. Monthly bill, $267. I believe that's car payment, 87 auto, 21 Planet Fitness, phone bill, 120. Food, only 150. How about gas? And how about like any type of like entertainment? Do you go to the movies? Do you drink? I mean, because that's low. I'm not saying you're lying, but that, if I rounded everything up, that's $300, $400, $500, maybe $600, $700 a month. I don't know anyone living that low. That's interesting if you are. I'm not saying you're lying. Thank you for sharing. Thank you everyone for sharing. Milano, good numbers. Thank you, brother. I'll just say M game. Hey Sam, what's up, brother? Have you ever been to southern Mexico? No, I haven't. It has a similar climate to Florida, and the cost of living is way cheaper. Well, thank you. I've never been outside of America, so I don't want to comment on what it's like. But the only thing I will say about America that I do like, again, only having experience, is I like the infrastructure, and I do like the overall laws. I mean, obviously, I don't know enough about Mexico to wisely comment. But what I've heard, and I could be misinformed, but from what I hear, I don't know if they're outside of the resort areas. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't know. I haven't been there. Do you live there? And what's your overall experience? If you do live there, are you overall happy there? Cheesy. Auto insurance, $288 a month. Auto insurance, $288 for 6 months. Storage, $40. Cheesy says gas, $100. Food, $175. You guys ain't eating shit. 20. Gym, $25. Phone, $50. Cheesy, you living cheap too, brother. I'm not mad. Thank you for sharing. Desert Beast says soup kitchens. That's where she eats, and she's laughing. That's funny. That's why everyone should get a basic income. Soup kitchens are a scam too, a little bit. I work for some of them. Not work for them, but I volunteered. They're not a scam. They're helpful, but and then he says laundry, $30. Yeah, I forgot about laundry. Who's doing laundry? Nobody put that in their budget. Good job, Cheesy. T Dot, red check, present. Thank you, T Dot, for doing that. Appreciate that. Good to see you. Cheesy, between $500 and $600 a month for everything. Wow. That's cheap, man. I can't believe it, but I'm thankful that you guys are sharing, man. That's amazing. I mean, I think I could probably get down to $1,200 if I really live bare minimum, but I would barely be moving. Wow. BVT says, Cheesy, you still have that fantastic looking van? Cheesy got a nice van. Milano. Sammy, I think your best activity. I will choose how to stay financially free from day one. Understanding numbers is a key success. I definitely agree. What Milano's saying is that you have to understand your budget. What we're doing right now, the exercise of saying like how much we spend per month, that's the first step to financial freedom. Knowing how much your expenses are, because then you need to know you need to make at least that, but you really need to make $1,000. You need to make $1,000 more than your expenses. If you're not living below your means. If you're making just as much as you're putting out, you're not living below your means. You're living at your means. You have to make at least net $1,000 more than your expenses. That's living below your means. Good job. Cheesy, yep. In a full time now. Finally took the leap since I came back from Tennessee. Welcome back, brother. Cheesy, easy peasy. I'm not mad at that. BBT, I understand that. Milano, Colombian girl, $100 a day. That's pretty cheap, brother. I'm not mad at that. I think AJ's with the Colombian girl today. He said gonna be tied up for a few days. I said, be careful, brother. All right, guys. I have fun. I appreciate everyone's time. Have a great night. Thank you for joining the live chat. Again, if these videos help you, you enjoy them, hit the thumbs up. It's free. Share the video. Above all else, just live your best life. Do the best you can. Go in peace.